All right, we are going to go ahead and get started with this Comeback Yoga All Levels class. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tonya, and this class is about 45 minutes long. And as Comeback Yoga is here to support you, your support team, and you as being in the military, whether you are current, whether you are active duty, or whether you are retired, we are here to support you. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. And like I said, we're here for about 45 minutes. You're going to want to go ahead and grab yourself a yoga mat or an exercise mat and some water. As we get moving in this practice today, I want to just invite you to just honor whatever it is that you're experiencing. So, noticing and tracking the sensations that are present. If you feel overwhelmed at any time, then go ahead and do what you need to do to feel safe again in your body and to feel safe in the practice. With that being said, I do offer some tools today of resiliency, tools of self regulation, so that when we or and finding ways that we can learn to acknowledge whenever it is that we are feeling overwhelmed, then tools of finding ourselves being able to calm ourselves down or to lift ourselves up. So we'll be doing both of those today. All right, so getting yourself comfortable, and you could be sitting on a chair or sitting on a cushion. You could even be laying down if that would feel better for you. And we'll just be here for a couple of minutes. So go ahead and rub the hands together a little bit here, just either gently or maybe feeling a little tension and you want to give a little squeeze to your hands. You can even kind of brush or massage the forearms of the arm, maybe even the shoulder. And if it would feel okay to even just kind of brush or just gentle taps, maybe longer strokes would feel better, maybe some squeezing, or maybe a combination of all of the above. Doing both arms, circling the joints. Okay. All right. Let's take a big breath in. Reach his arms up overhead. Clasp your hands and press your palms away from you so you could be on the ground still on your back. And then lower your arms down to your sides. Let's repeat. Inhaling, stretching arms up, clasping hands, press your palms away, and lower your arms down. We'll do one more time. Inhaling, stretching up. Feel the energy building, reaching your arms up. And exhaling, let's bring our arms out across our chest this time, grabbing opposite shoulders. Squeeze in and press down, maybe even rounding slightly here. And lifting up, changing the cross of the arms, squeezing in and down and kind of rounding forward. And then releasing that. Open up those arms again. Reach up. Cross in front of the body. Inhaling up. Cross arms in front of the body. Inhaling up. And then bring the palms together and hands in front of your chest. Good. And from here now, pressing the thumbs against your chest. Inhaling, sitting up or laying now, nice and long. Exhaling, bringing your arms forward or up and rounding your back, tucking your chin. With your next inhale, opening your arms and lifting your chest and your gaze. Exhaling, bringing your arms forward, rounding your back, palms together, And then bringing your hands in front of your chest. And let's repeat. Arms forward, rounding. Open arms, lifting chest. Arms forward, palms together. Inhale, hands to heart. Let's do 2 more rounds. And last one. Good. All right. Let's bring the back of the hands together. So stretching those wrists and forearms, maybe even bringing the fingertips towards your chest, maybe even towards the ceiling. All right, good. And then stretching your legs out or up if you're on your back. And just pointing, circling, flexing your feet, your ankles, just moving those legs around. Those ankles around, not your legs. Although you could be moving your legs here if you'd like. All right. And then drawing one leg in towards your chest, hugging that leg in, maybe holding on to the front of your shin, your leg here, and a little bit of movement back and forth. Can bring that knee in tighter. And then taking that ankle, placing it on the opposite knee, and bending your bottom knee, and then rock your legs side to side. And then holding on to your leg, draw yourself in and back, just moving back and forth. All right, good. Let's go ahead and stretch those legs out, pointing, flexing, circling your feet and ankles. And bringing your other knee in, moving back and forth. And then taking the ankle on your opposite knee and bringing that leg in and going side to side. And then holding on maybe to your back of your leg or the front and moving back and forth. You could also be on your back for this. All right. I think we got almost all those joints warmed up. So go ahead and stretch forward slightly. And then come on up. Good. Okay. Bringing yourself on around to a tabletop position. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Lifting your chest and your gaze, belly down towards the floor. And from here, let's move the hips back towards the heels. Your toes are curled under towards the knees. So you're going to stretch those feet and the toes. They don't always move like this unless you wear high heels a lot or something. But it's good for the feet. All right. And then come forward, point your feet. Same thing. We're going to look up, drop your belly down, look up to the ceiling or to the wall. Slight bend in the elbows. And then move back towards the heels. A little stretch for the tops of the feet. You can come all the way back if you like, dropping the hips back and down towards the heels. Maybe even bringing your head onto the mat or to the back of your hands. All right, coming back up to the tabletop, bringing one leg straight back and bringing that knee in. You could also do this from your forearms, like so, bringing your leg in and back. A little bit less strain then on the hands and the wrists. Let's do a few more times here, making sure that you're finding that breath. And last one. All right, other side, taking your leg back. And in, back and in. All right, two more times. Great. All right, let's come into a child's pose. The knees can be together or wide, dropping those hips back and down towards those heels. You might bend your elbows here, kind of stretch out the triceps, armpits, and the sides of your body. All right, coming on up, we're going to move into a downward dog here. So your knees about hip distance, your hands about shoulder distance, and lifting your hips up and back to the downward dog. Just lifting your heels one at a time, pedaling it out. And as you pedal, just maybe even start to walk your feet up towards your hands, coming into a standing forward fold, maybe bending your knees just to provide a little support for your torso. If you're like to, you can grab opposite elbows or shoulders here. You can look down at your toes or at your kneecaps, whichever feels better on your head. And then we'll slowly release that. Look forward and then rise up to standing and relax those arms down to your sides, finding a point out in front of you to focus on. Maybe there's something on the wall you'd like to acknowledge. Maybe something on a table like the plant here. I get to see, just notice the texture and the color of it and the luminosity, the way that the light is reflecting on it. Noticing it might need some water, maybe it's a little droopy. So just noticing what you notice about your surroundings right now, just connecting that visuals, maybe even noticing sound, maybe noticing smells. Just take all of it in, even though there may be so many different things happening outside of you. See if you can just pinpoint one a color, a texture, sound, and acknowledging that. And now bring your attention inside and notice your feet, how they are resting on the surface, how you're standing. If you're pitching forward a little more onto the toes, or if you're more onto the heels, do you feel weight more onto the outside of the feet or the inside of your feet? Do you feel like you're leaning back or forward and just noticing how you're standing? Do you feel like your your weight is evenly distributed? And then what about your knees? Do your knees feel locked? Are they slightly bent? Do you feel your hips over your knees and ankles? your shoulders over your hips, knees, and ankles and feet. What about your head and shoulders? Noticing your upper body over your lower body. And then touching your thumb and index fingers together. Breathing in and breathing out. As you breathe in, just a slight separation of the fingers. And as you breathe out, bringing those fingertips slightly together. On your inhale, slight separation. And your exhale, slight pressing together. One more time. Inhaling, gentle release. And exhaling, gentle pressure. And then releasing the fingertips, just letting your hands relax to your sides. Looking forward with your next inhale, stretch your arms up and maybe into a slight Y, kind of to an angle out. And then keeping that slight Y out, hinge forward at the legs and take those arms down to the floor, hands to the floor, releasing your head over your toes. Now, stepping one leg back, your hands frame your front foot. So if that means bringing your front leg forward or walking your hands back so that you're in a nice long lunge, maybe even coming up onto the fingertips, you could also come up onto your thigh for a little bit more of a challenge. And taking your hands down, twist towards your front leg, extending that arm up. And take your hand back down. Now we'll step forward. You might have to bring that back leg in or bring your front leg back and come into a forward fold. Step your other leg back, hands framing that front foot. You might have to wiggle your back leg longer. From your hips, press down into the floor to feel your feet connected to the ground. Again, you may come up onto the leg for a little bit more of a challenge. And then taking one hand down to the ground, twist towards the other knee here, that front knee. And bringing your hand down. Let's step back into a downward dog. Maybe again, helping that leg back. If you're really tight in your hamstrings, your feet can go out wider. If you feel this in your wrists, then walk your hands back a little bit more towards the heels so that you're not putting your weight on the wrists. So you do you. Maybe you even take your hands out wider. All right, come down to a tabletop position. Bringing those elbows straight back, bring your chest to the floor. Point your feet, lift your chest. Hands can float away from the ground. Keep those elbows bent, using the upper back muscles to lift up. And take it down. Press up to tabletop. And then move back into that downward dog or happy puppy, where your hips stay over your heels. Your hands press down, your arms are straight. This is just a good stretch for the upper body. But if you want to stretch for your whole body, then you come into downward dog. And again, we'll start the walking in place and then begin to walk forward towards your hands. You may have to bend your knees quite a bit to get to the
hands and feet together. And then we'll bend the knees, look forward, and rise up to standing. Stretch your arms all the way up. Find the full length of your body. And then bring your palms together in front of your chest and breathe. Finding your stability here again, finding your feet underneath you, finding breath, finding breath. Taking those arms up overhead, maybe to that Y position or even to a T position, and hinge forward, folding to touch the ground. Stepping one leg back, and maybe find a little bit more length by wiggling your back leg back. I'm going to come up onto the thigh. And then from being up onto the thigh, we'll turn and twist. So you can bring your forearm onto your thigh, or your elbow, or even your wrist, like so. And then taking it down to the ground, bring that back leg in to a forward fold. Stepping your other leg back to the lunge, coming up onto your leg, turning, twisting, maybe your top arm going up, forearm or elbow onto your thigh, and take it down to the ground. Step on back, downward dog. Coming to a plank position, option to come to your forearms, could also lower to your knees. Elbows go straight back, come down to your stomach, and lift your chest, point your feet, elbows bent, belly down, cobra. Lower all the way down, toes under, press back, coming into child's pose with the knees out, knees together, and in the arm position. Take a couple more breaths here. And rising up to downward dog. And just start to walk yourself towards those hands. As you come up, maybe your knees are bent. Press out away from your legs this time for a long spine. Using those back muscles, and then tuck your chin. Squeezing the shoulder blades onto the back. Hands can even be on your thighs. Bend your knees slightly now. Look forward and rise up to standing. Reaching the full length of your body. Bring the palms together in front of your chest and hands now to your sides. All right. Let's repeat with a little addition. All right. Inhale, arms coming up to either that Y or that T position. Exhale and take it to the ground. Stepping one leg back, finding that lunge position. Coming slightly upright, hands onto your front leg for support. Maybe forearm, maybe wrist, maybe armpit. And twist. Then we're going to come into a crescent. So you can bring your hand onto your thigh here, turn towards the front edge of your mat. You could always bring your knee down to the ground. Both arms are going to come up, reaching up, looking up. Feel that stretch in the front of your leg. Reach up,
Draw those legs together. Find that stretch. And then take it down to the ground. And step in and fold over your legs. Stepping your other leg back into the lunge. Coming up to the twist, using your hand, forearm, or armpit to provide stability on your front leg as you twist open. And then coming forward, hands onto your leg for stability. And then begin to round as you rise. One or both arms coming up. Option to have your back knee come to the ground. And take both hands to the ground and step back. Downward dog. Come to a plank position. Again, choosing to be on your knees or your forearms. Elbows go straight back. Come on down to your stomach. And open your chest. Elbows stay bent or push yourself up away from the floor, lifting your hips even. The only thing on the ground are your hands and the tops of your feet. Come back down and press up and back. Child's pose or downward dog. And we'll do one more round in a moment. For now, just a little recovery and just kind of catching your breath. Three more breaths. All right, bringing it up to your downward dog, or you could even just do happy puppy. Feel the stretch wherever you are. Anchor your hands and or feet, feeling the stretch and strength in your upper body. Walk your feet up to your hands, forward fold. Press out away from your legs, lengthening out. And then folding back over your legs, bend your knees, look forward, arms sweep out wide and rise up to standing. And bring your hands to your chest. And then letting those arms release to your sides. All right. Let's repeat last round. Inhale, reach up and out. Maybe even lean back slightly. And come forward to touch the ground. One leg steps back to your lunge. Finding that twist of your variation. Hands onto your leg for stability and support. Maybe you drop your back knee, maybe you don't. Bringing one or both arms up for your crescent. It's our last crescent on this side. So really feel the stretch as you even think about little core warming, core ignition, activation. Take your hands down to the ground. Bring your back leg in, bring it up and in, and then touch it down. Taking your other leg back into your lunge, frame your front foot. Turn, making that twist. Arms open. Maybe you're upright more. Come back around. Both hands onto your knee. A little rounding here. And then arms rise to your crescent. Being aware of the movement of your spine, the stretch, track sensations, what's possible, what's happening in your body, and take your hands down to the ground. Step back, downward facing dog. Last plank here, coming into that plank. Wiggle yourself long. Elbows go back, weight shifts forward. Come down to your stomach. Rise to your cobra. Maybe you keep your elbows bent and stay low for your cobra. Your upward dog, your hips lift. You press your palms and your feet down. And then lowering back down, we'll come all the way down. Meet on your stomach, resting your head on the back of your hands. And just settle in here. If you'd like to bend your knees, you may. Maybe even taking your knees out a little wider and touching your feet. Or keep your legs straight. Breathing into your belly, towards your belly, your abdomen, just expanding as you inhale. And releasing the ribs on the exhale. Let's take 2 more breaths like this. All right. Come now onto your side. Prop your head up onto your hand and bring your knees out in front. So you're going to get kind of long through that side body. Your knees out in front. Going to grab your top leg and bring your leg back behind you. If you want to, at this point, lower your head down onto your arm. I'm kind of hidden behind the plant here. Here we go. Come down. Just a nice stretch. Bring the right or that top shoulder back and down so you kind of open up your chest here as well. Get 2 for 1. And that top leg stretching back as you press your hips forward. All right, bring that leg up towards the ceiling. Maybe your hand comes to the inside of your leg, sending your leg straight up towards the ceiling. You could hold on to the back of your leg here, inside of your foot, or grab your ankle. Option is to challenge yourself and straighten that bottom leg. As long as you don't, you're going to tip a little bit forward and back. You might even fall. And guess what? We pick ourselves back up. Yeah. But that bottom leg bent will provide a little bit more stability. All right. Bring the leg again back behind you for that quad stretch again. We're going to stretch the hips in a second here, but outside of the hips. But for now, we got the hamstrings and the quad. And then we're going to do one more time, bringing the leg up towards the ceiling, stretching out through your leg.
All right. Let's bring both knees up closer to the chest. Little hug in, and then press yourself up to switch sides. Okay. Getting long on the underside, legs out in front, grabbing your top ankle and bringing your leg back behind. And straightening your leg towards the ceiling. And then back behind. And then back up to the ceiling. And release. Come onto your back now. We'll do a little hip stretch, little figure 4 hip stretch. So, like we did at the very beginning of our class, we took one ankle on the opposite knee, and then we kind of rocked our legs side to side. Knees came in towards the chest. So, you can do that, or you can keep your foot on the ground and just rock your legs side to side. And then we'll hold in the center. Maybe you'd like to bring the knees in at this point, and you can hold on to the back of your leg. All right, switching sides, ankle to knee, maybe your legs moving side to side. And then drawing your legs in, holding to the back of one leg or the front of your shin. All right, and placing or bringing both knees to your chest, lift your head and shoulders up. You can hold on to the back of your shins, front of your shins, and then lower down. All right, we have completed our movement practice, and now we're moving into our kind of our guided relaxation. So get yourself comfortable. Maybe you'd like to be sitting up, laying on your side or your back. I'll be sitting upright to guide you through the remainder of this portion of class. So just whenever you feel comfortable, see if you could get a little bit more comfortable, whatever that looks like for you, feels like for you, adding maybe a layer of
of clothing, maybe removing a layer of clothing, whatever you're needing. Noticing the temperature of your body. And notice any sensations that are present. Is there parts of you that feel relaxed and at ease? Parts of you maybe that are feeling more tension or discomfort? Acknowledging any of these sensations that are present and experiencing opposites. So there may be, again, parts of you that feel warm. Notice those parts. Notice the parts of you that feel cool or cold. And taking a few more moments here to notice any sensations. Even the contrast of your in breath and out breath, the smooth or the irregular, the roughness of your breath, the in breath followed by the out breath. And we'll take just a few more moments here in silence. Go ahead now and bring your attention back to my voice, back to your surroundings and the surface beneath you. And when you feel ready to move, do so in your own way. Maybe you're moving through the joints, turning your head left and right and left. And go ahead. And if you feel ready to come up into a seated position to finish our lesson, then do so. And I just want to thank you for being here today, for showing up, and for taking care of yourself. Please share this with others, maybe even watch this again. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Stay in touch. Be well. Until then.